Welcome back to Special Dialogue. I'm Vandana Nanwani. Now, moving continents from the United States to Australia, Crown Group is the leading property group focusing on luxury apartments in Australia since 1996. Behind the scenes is co-founder Iwan Sunito. MNC World News' Tommy Chokro talked to Iwan Sunito on the business of properties and how he conquered the property world.
Something that I felt like Indonesia has got a lot of young people, and I think if we can tap into the resources of this borderless community, a global community, and creating more, not about building, but more about a culture. You know, when you think about Silicon Valley, you got Palo Alto, where the home of Steve Jobs, but it's also the home of people like Thomas Alva Edison. The whole city was built on a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship, and that's built on Stanford University. So I thought it's about time for Indonesia to actually lead the way. We had a lot of very clever young people, and I've come across with some wonderful young people who are actually importing or exporting the virtual reality to the world, and I was so surprised that we're actually doing that right now.
And to get that to the final, to make it happen, how did you arrange this to these youngsters, talents, or maybe the government officials, for example?
Well, I think we need to find, first is the land first. So we've got a couple of land, but I think lately I just come across this new venture where somebody is actually talking about bringing Crown Group to participate in the land. It's a waterfront site, which is fantastic. But in addition of that, there's going to be a massive land that it can actually create, and we virtually have to build a city of the future. It's almost like the Songdo city in Korea. It's a new city that is created, advanced technology, new culture that has to be injected into it. But we need the support of the government. But I think collaboratively, like the private and the government, and perhaps tapping into the world's best is the key and the solution to Indonesia.
Any specific location you're eyeing now?
Well, I can't say anything more than this waterfront, really. I mean, it's the first pilot project will be about $500 million GRV, gross relation value, but the next stage will be a few $1 billion, if not significant, much more than a few billion.
All right. Now, we've been experiencing a slowdown in property business a couple of years back, but now everybody is being positive for this year and the next year. And how about you?
Well, I'm always positive about property. You know, I mean, if you build the best, people are looking for the best, and there's not many people who actually create the best. I mean, when we launched Infinity by Crown Group in 2015, we sold $380 million in 5 hours. That was during the crisis in Shanghai, right?
Yeah.
Last 3 weeks ago, I mean, we launched Waterfall by Crown Group in Sydney, and this is despite the cooling back measure by the government in terms of foreign funding, foreign buyers getting funding, and we launched and sold $300 million in 4 hours. Okay. So I think it's just, even in the good time, good property sells. The bad time, good property also always sell too. Now, I'm confident about Indonesia. I think it's there's a better government and the opening to the foreign buyers for property above $500,000 is actually positive. I don't think you're going to see a surge of those buyers, but I think it's a great beginning of a small start for something greater.
And in terms of types, what kind of types do you think is suitable for this country and of course this time?
I think it's we've specialized on residential high-rise with high amenities, like a lot of facility like the club or the resort house, the resort facility. Now, I think there'll be people who are looking for investment. So great position, great location with future growth is a great option for those people who buy. I think there are also people who might want to send their children to study to Indonesia, which is not many, but I think it's a growing number. There are also products that we target. I do feel that there are also people that are local who are downsizer, you know, younger generations that want to live closer to the activities and then of course the downsizer, you know, people in the past used to have a big home, but it's fairly lonely when you have a big home and your kids are studying overseas and your kids are now quite mobile. They don't stay home.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, I'm very happy to hear that you are actually focusing to build this huge Silicon Valley in Indonesia. I mean, from Australia, if you're coming from your experience there in Australia, and now you're giving your talent, mixing with all the local talents here, is quite surprising and positive in terms of experiencing of having these talents in Indonesia. But how do you see the talents here in Indonesia?
Well, you know, what surprises me is often is that when was the last time that we build buildings that the world is talking about? Well, and we often think that we don't have the talent. The reality is we built Borobudur and Prambanan, that the world are actually coming to Indonesia to see how beautiful the buildings are. The reality is that we build the most beautiful resorts in Bali, in the world, the most beautiful resort of the world in Bali. So I think it's there are a lot of talented young people and creative designers and creative business people who are in Indonesia. I mean, Indonesia is, after all, is the home of the 1 trillion economy, which is the largest in Southeast Asia, but we're just not promoting it well enough. So.
From a childhood spent in Kalimantan to his arrival in Sydney at the age of 18, Sunito has come a long way, even publishing 2 success books of his own. And Crown Properties still remains the leading property group in Australia. That concludes our program. I'm Vandana Nanwani. Have a good day.